Freemasonry is a secret society that was born in ancient times. However, when and in what context this association was born, there is still no historical document that is believed to be the most authentic. Freemasonry also leaves imprints in countries and influences on record in relation to historical events. Why is it called Masonry? Freemasonry, according to the majority of historians, is a fraternal organization with origins in the Middle Ages. Officially born in the small English town of Warrington in 1646, this association admits members not only from noble and wise families in the fields of politics, science and art, but also rich in charity to pursue the goal of social progress and non-dogmatic humanity towards the perfection of humanity. According to the history books, Freemasonry is not a heresy, even if the members are admitted to it according to mystical principles and rituals. They use scientific, spiritual and religious elements such as the selection of beautiful natural numbers, natural symbols, mystical elements of religion, the solemnity of ancient ritual practices to exchange together and carry out their mission of enlightening humanity. In the early days of its establishment, Freemasons often participated in charitable activities, promoted fraternity and respected moral values, the desire to share work and contribute benefits to society. Many sources cite that its members are present in many parts of the world, especially countries with a long history of development and an estimated 5 million people. The root word of Freemasonry comes from the word Mason, which means mason. Some documents say that Freemasons were born in BC, during the construction of King Solomon's temple, and its masons built works by chipping and grafting stone blocks weighing a few tons without using mortar lime. The word Freemasonian mason is a portmanteau of free and macene, which implies the foundation of freedom or the pursuit of freedom. Brothers or masters, when writing to each other, are often abbreviated as F and M with 3 triangular dots behind them, and so they are called masonry. The symbol of Freemasonry, like a compass in geometry, because the compass, the square and the pyramid are both tools that show mystical power and create the characteristics of the association. Pythagorean mathematician, born in 570 BC, died in 495 BC, a pioneer in the foundations of all forms of architecture and mathematics, said to be one of the founding members of Freemasonry. Because thanks to him, the association has such a special symbol, applicants who want to join the guild or are recommended for admission must go through a rigorous vetting process, with investigation of their background, education level, living environment, etc., and must fluently answer all questions that other members ask, while covering their faces. Once eligible to become a member, the candidate must keep the clan secret and must not reveal the names of other members under any circumstances. The governing body of the guild is called the Great Guild. In the world, Freemasons have many associations, but do not have a single governing body. Sometimes a guild may have only one person. Although the identity of Masonry members is kept secret, over time this gradually has to be revealed, so that it is known that many political leaders are members of Masonry. Most impressive are US presidents such as George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Andrew Jackson, Theodore Roosevelt, prominent scientists such as Charles Darwin, Isaac Newton. In the world of literature and art, the great painter Leonardo da Vinci, the composer known as Mozart, the writer Mark Twain, the novelist Arthur Conan Doyle. Just a glance at these names, we can imagine some of the power and mystical attraction of a secret society that still exists to this day. The mark of Freemasonry in American political history. Historical sources suggest that many presidents have been members of Freemasonry, such as George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, George Adams, Benjamin Franklin, etc. Since gaining independence from the British, it has taken more than 10 years for George Washington to choose the land as the new capital for the United States rather than taking the cities that were the origin of the American Revolution, such as Boston, Pennsylvania, or New York City. In Washington's view, Washington, D.C. today has a geographical location with all Feng Shui elements. Work on the political center of Washington, D.C. was left to French architect Pierre-Charles L'Enfant, who was also a Freemason. When Pierre-Charles L'Enfant received orders to design and start the construction of Washington, D.C. in early 1791 from Presidents Washington and Thomas Jefferson, he applied a variety of architectural and design principles, both scientific and inheriting ancient Egyptian, Roman and Greek architectural traditions. It is necessary to carefully calculate the standard size and proportion of the works, bring religious elements, as well as harmonize the influence of earth, water, wind and fire elements, in order for the institution of the U.S. government to achieve the air and sustainability, not only the main works representing the government, but also the system of roads and houses of Washington, D.C. L'Enfant also included in the design with Feng Shui elements, showing the mysterious symbols of Freemasonry. First, L'Enfant did not place the Parliament and the White House on the same road, not letting the two parliamentary regimes and the government confront each other. From Congress to the White House, and vice versa, must go through at least two routes. Second, because President George Washington and most of the American founders were Christians, religious influence was evident in the criteria for government. This is not just reflected in the design of the US dollar, with the words "In God We Trust," but also in the design of the power center of the United States. If you connect to straight lines, a line from the top of the dome of the U.S. Capitol to the Abraham Lincoln Memorial, a line from the White House to the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, you will see a giant cross located in the center of American power. This is not only visible on the map, but also very clearly on the photos taken from above. Thirdly, the metaphorical image of the owl, a mascot of Freemasonry, is clearly visible in the central area of American power, with two eyes looking down on the entire Washington male area, while the breast and heart are hugging the entire U.S. Congress. For Freemasons, the owl represents wisdom, the ability to see through as intimately as what others do not see, no matter how well hidden. In Greek mythology, the palm stands for the goddess of learning, and in some of the currencies of Rome, ancient and modern Greece, the palm stands for status, wisdom and wealth. According to the concept of Freemasonry, the owl is the leader of the night, protecting the soul and spiritual heritage of the deceased to pass to the next generation. Among the natural numbers, Freemasons believe in the magic of a few natural numbers, including 13 and 33. The number 33 corresponds to the 33 dorsal vertebrae of the vast majority of people on Earth. These 33 vertebrae are closely linked to help people stand upright and look forward. On the other hand, level 33 is the last level in the ranking scale of Freemasonry. So the rotunda dome of the U.S. Capitol is supported by 33 columns. Each column is exactly 3.3 meters high, which means the immortality of the people's power, which is the U.S. Congress. In addition to the number 33, the number 13 is also frequently used by Freemasons, while for Christianity and most other cultures, the number 13 is considered an unlucky number, because the number 13 corresponds to the number of Judas, the last apostle who rebelled against Jesus. And the 13th day of the year, that falls on a Friday, is called a Black Day. Up to now, many high-rise buildings in both Europe and Asia have not numbered the 13th floor. Then for Freemasons, the number 13 is explained in the most positive aspects. Just as the number 33 corresponds to the human vertebrae of the back, the number 13 is also explained by the Freemasons in a human-centered way. In particular, the number 13 corresponds to the total number of joints of the body that help people move and move their semen. 13 is the 12 that revolves around the nucleus, such as the 12 gathered apostles of Jesus, the 12 constellations in the solar system. They argue that the birth of the United States, with 13 northern states as the original founding members of the United States, is considered the arrangement of the Creator. The $1 bill, America's most popular banknote. On this bill, the symbols and hints of the occult number, such as the unfinished pyramid, the clairvoyant eye, the number 13 appear dense, the 13 stars on Eagle Island, the 13 pyramid floors, the 13 stripes on the shield, the 13 branches, and the 13 berries on the olive grove, the 13 arrows in a bundle, and the Latin annuit coeptis and e pluribus unum are both 13 characters. The above are just some of the many evidences, with the multifaceted influence of Freemasonry in the United States, that show that right from the founding of the American elite not only believes in themselves and a healthy institution, but also believes that, if their works are in accordance with the laws of heaven and earth, the United States will always prosper.